Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're after just witnessing an incredible semi-final of the Junior Championship. Ballyhegan are through to the final and it's a 1 point win for them over Clann. I'm delighted to be joined by their goalkeeper Johnny McKeever. Johnny, it was tough and nervy there at the end, but you get through.
Yeah, look, it was always going to be a tight game. You know, Clann kind of ran away with the league early doors. Best team always wins the league, and they were full value for that. We had a good run, finished second. So look, it's fair to say from our sort of section of the league, the two best teams were there. It was always going to be tight. It was never going to be 4 or 5 points either way. It was always going to go to the wire, and look, it definitely did today.
And I suppose the good start was a big thing for you. Johnny, what would you put that down? I think you were 6-1 ahead after 17 minutes. Was that just the big test in the quarter final that helped, or what would you put that down to?
I suppose a mixture of things. Looking at Clann the year and even the home game down in there at the start of the season, they get out in front of us, and look, they're with Brenton there. They're very well organised. They're very well drilled. If they get out in front, it's very, very hard to break them down. They're fit. They're good ball skills. They're just a really well organised team. So look, we targeted a good start. Luckily we got that. Now they got back into it. Credit to them. They were never going to lay down. But that's kind of was our game plan.
And obviously you've got a good lead. They come back into it a wee bit before half time. I think you were 3 or 4 up at half time. But what was the message at half time just to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, look, half time probably came at a bad time for us. We had a bit of momentum. We were keeping the ball. I don't think we had too many wides in that first half, so kind of came at a bad time for us, and we got the break. They were always going to come out in the first 5-10 minutes and go at us, and look, they really did. They put us to the pin of our collar, and it was tough going.
And the goal, obviously, you've got a goal yourselves. James McCormick, a real good breakaway goal, and that gives you a 4 or 5 point cushion. But then Clann come back and they get a goal, so it's just a hectic second half.
Yeah, look, and they put Donaghy into the edge of the square, and look, you knew they were going to try and put ball in. He's great in the air, but look, a fine fetch and a great goal in fairness to him. But it put them back into it, and look, it was very, very nervy there at the end. Got a wee bit spicy, but look, that's championship football.
And the way they were coming driving back at you, Johnny, it's hard when another team gets momentum. It's very hard to switch that again, isn't it? I think just tipping away at the points a couple of times, and obviously we mentioned McCormick's goal. That was key in that second half. Yeah,
look, we're relying on James. He's been banging goals in every game, and look, he's one of the top forwards in this league. There's no doubt of that. So look, we do rely heavily on him, but look, he's produced it every game so far. So we always needed a goal to stretch it out, but look, we did let them back into it, so we're kind of probably disappointed there. Need to look at our shape, probably our work rate, bit of lapse in concentration. Don't think fitness was an issue. Both teams, look, for junior football, we're flying fit, so look, it's a good advert for junior football.
I suppose talking about McCormick and obviously Peter McGrain too, there were two boys we highlighted on the podcast before the game. They're two really solid young players coming through now with the more experienced heads, like yourself obviously, Mark Hughes. There's a good blend there in that team.
No, a really good blend. Like we badly missed Peter in the league. We did get a good run together and won some games in a row. But he's a county standard player. Look, you want to have him in your team, and he's made a big difference when he came back in. Look, took a few games to bed him back in, but he stands out there. He had a tough task tonight, Martin Quigley, and the two boys went sort of at it, and it was good to see.
I suppose that was a big thing tonight because we spoke on the podcast about his role. He sort of come out and played maybe as a third midfielder or sweeper, just sort of a free role, but tonight he had a designated man marking role, and he can sort of do that, can't he? And he was up kicking a point in the first half too, so he had a really big impact.
Yeah, look, Peter's a very versatile player. Look, and sometimes that's maybe to his detriment. He can play anywhere. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's good in the tackle, he can shoot. But look, credit to him. He put the hand up for a man marking job tonight, and look, he stuck to his task well. Clann have some very good players, and look, we were targeting the likes of Quigley, the likes of Donaghy in the air. Boys that it was a derby game at the end of the day. We've played each other loads over the last few years. We've kind of gone up and down together and stuff like that. Won a couple of juniors in the last 5, 6, 7 years with each other. So look, it was always going to be, everybody. There's no surprises, but it's kind of on the night.
And back in the final for the first time, 2017, I think you were telling us. So back in the final and back, hopefully for you, getting your hands on the Sean Quinn Cup again.
Yeah, look, we had a really disappointing year last year. Look, things just didn't go our way. We had a few lads unavailable, different bits and pieces. It was just one of those years. I think we won one game all year. Truth be told, probably glad to see the end of it. Regrouped, came back out kind of early doors towards Christmas, and look, we're targeting to get back up in intermediate. So that's kind of where we're at. our league start didn't probably help us do that. I think we lost the first 3 games, and I think after that it was probably out of our reach to finish first. So look, the aim was finish as high up the league, try and get a bit of momentum, and look, target the championship. It's always a tough one because, like, as we know, like the Clann guys know, junior championships very, very unpredictable. You know, get the teams, very seldom you see a team. I know Derry News had done it recently, just that win the double, but it's very difficult to do. So you really want that top spot, and Clann have that, and look, they're back up in intermediate football where they probably should be. You know, they're at that level. Similar to ourselves last year, probably didn't have the year that they wanted to have, but look, they'll go back up there and look, they'll hold their own. I don't doubt it.
And you're speaking about the league football. Obviously, you said yourselves and Clonmore were the top 2 teams in Division 3A. Clonard and Thomas Davis, they're both Division 3B. Obviously, we don't know who are playing yet, but you would probably be first. It's an unknown phase because you haven't played them 2 teams in a couple of years.
Well, Thomas Davis were in our group. They took us out on the first day down there, and look, they set up well to us. Probably a bit of complacency on our part. We went down there. I wasn't there, but reports back from the game was we just sort of played in ourselves, played into their kind of tactics. We sat back. It was a very low scoring game. I think it was maybe 1-9 to 1-7 or something like that. Whereas previously, like we'd been putting up big scores. And look, they were well drilled as well. So it's unknown when you're playing teams kind of down from that lower 3B where you haven't seen a lot of them. And again, Clann in second. I think they finished second in 3B. But beat Portmore, who did win that section probably fairly convincingly. So it's going to be a tricky one no matter who we meet. And look, if it's Clann, it's Clann, and if it's Thomas Davis, we'll probably want to get back at them with them beating us in the group. But also we beat them in the final here in 17. So look, they're going to want a bit of revenge.
I should have knew that I was at that first round game, but there's so many games played in between times I forgot about it. But you have obviously bounced back really well. You were disappointed that day because you just didn't perform, and obviously Thomas Davis, they were brilliant that day too. So I think you have bounced back really well, and you have recovered from that, and maybe that was a kick in the teeth that you have recovered from now.
Yeah, look, it was disappointing because we were targeting kind of top on the group, getting yourself that extra week off, not having to play in a playoff. The group we got, look, we were happy enough with the group. We had Mullabrack and Dorsey, and you know, Thomas Davis. We wanted to win that group and kind of keep the momentum going. But if you were going to lose a game, you lose the first game, and it did definitely regroup us. Like, you know, we had some serious conversations after that, and look, we got back on the training pitch, tried to work on stuff, and started trying to play games on our own terms. And look, you saw through the rest of the group stages and the playoffs, and probably to a lesser extent to someone. Look, we were playing our football on our terms, so it was just maybe came at a good time.
And Johnny, you mentioned you weren't at that first round game, you weren't at the quarter final. You're not even living in the country anymore. You're over in Doha now the last couple of months.
Yeah, so I am. This is my first championship game. 9 weeks ago, wife and the kids all moved out to Doha. Wife's got a job out there. She's a physio working in a sports medicine hospital. So look, it was good move for the family. Obviously going to miss the football, but it was on the cards for a while. Management had kind of known that, so I think sort of probably 6 or 7 games out in the league, like I was kind of being phased out essentially. My younger brother's actually the sub goalkeeper, so I was there kind of backing him up, still training away until it was going. He was playing a couple of games, doing well, getting in there, and then he unfortunately broke his leg. So we ended up in a moon boot for 8 or 9 weeks, and we struggled then. I think we've had 4 or 5 different goalkeepers. Jack Ra at the time, before he done his knee, was coming back from a wrist injury. I think he done nets against College Land away, and ended up breaking his finger. And then another guy who was travelling, Tiernan Power, came back. Tiernan stepped in. I think Tiernan pulled a quad in a friendly game against the Tones. And then credit to Conor Williamson, he's been playing all the group games and look, doing well. He's a midfielder by trade, and he was actually tasked there the night with kind of trying to mark Keelan Donaghy. So I think he was glad to see me back and to get out the field. But look, credit to him, he put the hand up, he done his bit for the team. But look, I'm happy to be back.
And that last day against Lissommon, the boys were slogging it out here, going to extra time, and you were laying with your feet up, were you, watching on?
I don't know about that. I was in front of the laptop screaming, and the wife, she took the kids out of the house. She says, I can't listen to you anymore. So that's fair enough. So not used to watching Ballyhegan in the championship game, but it was tough to watch now. But look, I think that game probably stood to us. I think you and Mark talked about it during the week on the podcast. That, you know, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We didn't have, after the Thomas Davis game, probably a lot of heavy contests. We were putting up big scores, 4-15, 3 this. It was easy enough for us. Now, granted, we were out 5 weeks in a row, so look, it does take its toll. I think you saw that in the Summon game. We were quite leggy. But the Summon, the county final last year, they were always going to be hard to play. They had probably a disappointing enough league as well that they ended up getting relegated. But look, they took us down there, that wee garden of a pitch of theirs, and look, they gave us a going over that day. So they're well within it. I think they'd lost Paddy Rogers. He had broke his arm against College Land, so he was a big miss for them. Stevie Matthews probably didn't have a day on the free kicks that he would normally have. He's a very sharp shooter. So look, things probably went for us that day. Probably should have seen the game out. We were 3 points up deep into injury time. They threw a ball into the square. We just didn't deal with it. They got the goal, but I think we got through. We got through extra time. I think our fitness probably showed, but we were kind of just glad to get through it and get over the line.
And Johnny, how's the lifestyle out? Would you be doing much goalkeeping training, or what do you be at?
I was going out with the full expectation to not play football and just maybe take up golf or something like that. But no, there's a good GAA community out there. So I started training with Qatar GAA, and look, there's lots of lads. There's Clann lads, there's Tones boys, there's Silver Bridge. Real good community out there. It's enjoyable. Weather's a bit different. You're out slogging on a Tuesday night, 30-degree heat and the sweat dripping off you. It's not really my scene, but it's good. Just good to get out for the social aspect. And look, I suppose in hindsight now, it was good that I was trained away and sort of keep my eye in, because I don't think to come back into the sort of cauldron of tonight with having not played any football in 9 weeks would have probably been tough. So look, I was keeping myself right. I don't know, I was probably half my head wondering if I ever was going to come back, but look, it's worked out well. Look, I'm glad I'm here. So just have to sort of break the news that I'll stay now for the county final. But
I was just about to ask you, I assume you're staying. There's no point in going back over and coming home in 2 weeks' time. You'll be staying and get the build up and enjoy the build up as well.
Yeah, no, look, the build up's a big thing. Like, back in 17, it was really, I think a week between the semis and the final. It was a really enjoyable week. It's a good buzz around the club. Things are nice, but no, it's good to be there. Very lucky that sort of my employer, I'm working remotely for a company still based here over in Doha, so look, they're very flexible. So I'm back over here working in the office. I took our youngest girl, Ada, she's only 1, I took her back on the plane, so not too bad. Only left the wife for 2 kids, but no, look, I'm very thankful that I've been given the opportunity to come back here.
Well, we have a big 2 weeks ahead. Obviously, we'll have another interview coming up now with either a Clann or Thomas Davis player, whoever makes it through into the final. So, Johnny, best luck in 2 weeks, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Sean. Cheers.
So I'm joined by Sean Corry of Clann seconds. They're only after making it through to the final of the Junior Championship. They'll take on Ballyhegan in 2 weeks' time. And Sean, we'll get to that game, but we'll focus, you're just off the field there. 4-point win over Thomas Davis to make the final. I'm sure you're all delighted.
Yeah, we're all delighted, Sean. I suppose a lot of people thought maybe the game was done at half time, but fair play to Corinchigo, Thomas Davis there, they came out at us in the second half, and before the game we knew, after the game they came to Clann and they weren't going to lie down to us and give us an easy second half there today, so sort of fell over the line there a bit, but just glad to get over the line and get through to the final. So.
And I suppose you mentioned at half time, like the 2 goals obviously give you a cushion. I think you were maybe 8 points up at half time. What's been said in the dressing room at that stage? You know, I'm sure that Thomas Davis is going to come out and they're going to throw everything at you.
Well, yeah, exactly. We know what to expect. We know they're not going to lie down and make things easy for us, and it was just about trying to keep the intensity in our own game and drive the thing forward and keep getting scores and try not to concede goals, and I'm fortunate to concede one. But Ethan McKenna maybe was a big loss there at half time, had to come off injured. So hopefully he's alright for the final. But that sort of ball winning ability and ability to carry the ball up the field, maybe missing that a wee bit in the second half. I know Rogie took a core hit there as well at one stage, so made hard work of it, but we'll get over the line there in the end, so with it.
What do you think? You're a corner forward, so the ball wasn't coming up to you as much in the second half. You're just praying that the midfielders and defenders do their job and hopefully get the ball up to you a couple of times.
Well, that's it. I think it was 10 minutes gone. I was looking and going, I haven't moved here much, but I don't move much anyway, to be honest with you, Sean. Again, it was just down to the likes of Oscar McKeever there in the last couple of minutes. Captain of the team, has been away for a period of time throughout the summer. Absolutely brilliant. Carrying the ball up the end line, I think, laying it off to Michael there at the end. Real leadership qualities there from young fellas, from boys that have been involved in and around our senior squad the last couple of years, so it's absolutely fantastic.
And you mentioned that the young fellas, there's such a blend of youth and experience in that team. At the minute, you're like yourself, Conor Bale, Johnny Trode, who've been there and done that at senior level. You're helping to bring these young boys through now, so there is a nice blend.
Yeah, there is great blend, and talking there the last couple of sessions, sort of splitting training up this last few weeks, junior team getting to train by themselves and things, and trying to replicate the intensity that we get in the collective sessions. Obviously some of these young fellas are training with some of the best players in the county, and whenever we're going away by ourselves and training, it's the likes of me and Connor, Tony Malloy, Johnny Tyrone, Nell O'Neill, try and drive them standards and try and keep things high. Just trying to get the most out of them young fellas as well, and especially nights like tonight, bright lights, Monday night football, long weekend waiting for this, making sure the big occasion doesn't get to them young fellas and trying to guide them as best we can. So it's been brilliant, getting promotion out of 3B this year now in the championship final. Far more than we ever expected at the start of the year whenever this first sort of came to fruition, the talk of our second team. So we're all delighted here tonight. Yeah,
it's not a bad start for you, Sean, because as you say, this was only, I think you did try it a couple of maybe 10 years ago or so.
10 years ago, and I suppose just with the rules and things about guys moving up and not being able to move back down sort of hindered us that year. But the numbers we have down at training here, say training collectively with the seniors, you've maybe 40 guys some night, and Rory doing his best to manage the numbers, and then Benji and Stevie as well, trying to integrate some of our minors into the junior team here now. Big Andy Moriarty came on there tonight out of minors, throwing himself about, got a score, a real good head on young shoulders there, so great players to bring off the bench, and great for the club as a whole.
And obviously up training, you train together, and I'm not sure what other junior teams do, but the whole Clann you train with the seniors all year, and I know come championship you have sort of split it, but playing at that training at that standard, and training, as you say, with some of the best players in the county, that can only bring this junior team forward.
100%, and you can see that with the likes of the progression throughout the year. In hindsight, we're looking back at that 3B league and saying we came second, and we were fortunate enough to finish second on the last round of fixtures. But in reality, I think the team we have now would have maybe picked up a few more points along the way. So it shows good maturity that the guys young fellas are learning and they're progressing as the year goes on. So it looks good.
And obviously Ballyhegan now next. I know you were just saying off earlier, you've only played one Division 3A team all year, so this is going to be a step up, and you probably don't really know what to expect because you haven't played them before.
No, that's it. Totally said. I was saying the off air. The only 3A team we've played this year is our Rogue in the group stages, and we're lucky enough to come away with a win that night. So listen, we'll dust ourselves down. As a club, we'll have this weekend senior championship to look forward to. We'll get our recovery done, look at getting a session in, whatever we need to do over the weekend, and prepare for a week and a half, 2 weeks down the line.
And the pressure's on the seniors now, because I know the ladies, seniors and juniors got to championship finals, yous are there, so Clann Gill have something to say about that?
I'm saying nothing. So.
Well, Sean, thanks for coming on. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll have our preview to the senior and intermediate championship semi-finals, and obviously bringing reports and interviews and previews for all those games. Thanks very much to Capture Athletic for coming on board as our main sponsor for the duration of the podcast, and we'll chat to you all on Thursday. Good stuff.